Good evening, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell here with WHAS 11. We are live in our streaming studio. This is powered by Humana, and we have a lot to talk about this evening. We're talking about plummeting temperatures. We have some spotty snow showers on the map. We're also tracking some slick spots overnight thanks to the rain that we had this morning, the flash freezing that we're seeing this evening and into tonight, and then additional rounds of Arctic air and even some light snow chances on the way as we carry on into this weekend. So thank you all for joining me on this live stream. I'll walk you through the forecast. These are always nice because we can take a look at all of the graphics and really take a deep dive rather than on the newscast when we only have a couple of minutes per half hour here. But if you are joining me live from Facebook, that's where I can see the comments. Feel free to comment any questions you may have. Let me know what you're seeing outside of your window if you have any snow showers out there. We're not really talking about accumulating snow so much tonight, but we have some better chances as we carry on throughout the week. So let's go ahead and get started here, and we'll take a look at some of our graphics. So crashing temperatures, yes, we're talking about that this evening and into tonight. Temperatures actually started off in the 50s this morning. We dropped into the 40s and then eventually the 30s. And now the 20s. So we had a strong cold front that rolled through Kentuckiana, that cold Arctic air continuing to pour in here through this evening and tonight. And we've had a weather impact alert for the second half of today throughout the week. So we've been keeping a close eye on this pattern change and things looking definitely more wintry throughout the rest of the week, into the weekend, and even into early next week. So we have been tracking some brief snow showers, transitioning over to flurries for many of us at this point. We had some grapple. Those, they look like little Dippin' Dots. The soft snow pellets, or soft hail, I think is another word for it. Kind of the round ice balls that fall from the sky that aren't hail. We had that earlier this afternoon. I know in downtown Louisville, we had a heavy snow burst. The heaviest that we've seen in downtown was right around 4 p.m. here. Visibility dropped, winds were whipping. Obviously nothing accumulated, it just kind of blew around. But that's when we had the heaviest snow burst, and since then it's been lighter. But slick spots, I've been seeing some reports of that, and of course we're feeling those wind chills as well. So this is a good visual. We were expecting this a midnight high. If you've been watching the last couple of days, I've been mentioning how today was going to be one of those backwards days where we hit our high at midnight, temperatures in the mid-50s, dropping into the 40s during the morning hours, and eventually into the 30s. I mean, just take a look at between 3 and 4 p.m. here. We went from 40 degrees to 33. And of course, that's your actual air temperature with even colder wind chills out there. Highs the next 5 days. We will still see, it looks like a surge of warmth potentially on Friday, which is interesting because we also have some snow chances on Friday when we could be hitting 40 degrees. But for the most part, we're talking highs in the 20s and 30s through that extended forecast. Average high is 43 for this time of year, so we will be staying well below that. Temperature trends. Another good visual here. So we had that front that moved through this morning, bringing that colder air behind, and that is right over us through tomorrow. We still have somewhat of a northwest flow tomorrow, so that's keeping that colder air rolling through here. Even though we're expecting more sunshine tomorrow, it'll be cold sunshine. Temperatures below that freezing mark. Many spots will struggle to hit 30 degrees tomorrow afternoon. So it's just going to be a chilly, chilly day. We try to thaw things out, as I mentioned, very briefly on Friday, but take a look at this surge by Sunday. This is looking even colder and stronger. So the eastern half of the country dealing with this surge of Arctic air through here. This will take us through early next week because it's not able to fully lift, really, it looks like, until maybe Wednesday or Thursday when we start to thaw things out. So we could have a stretch of a few days here. I would say Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, where we're either right around freezing for a high or below it. I think we could have a few days in the 20s. Here's a live look outside. And I want to show this because you can tell it looks a little foggy. Visibility is a little lower, so that means we could be having a snow shower rolling through here. Once again, I'm not really too worried about accumulation, even though temperatures are now below freezing, because we don't have a ton of moisture with what we're working at here. But we'll take a look at that radar in just a moment. Otherwise, visibility dropping a bit. Temperatures, they're cold. If you have to be out tonight, bundle up. I needed 2 different jackets today. This morning early when I was out, just a rain jacket. And then definitely need the winter jacket here, the gloves, the scarf, because Wind chills are back down into the teens. And it's been a while since we've been this cold. So winter is back, sticking with us for a while. Get out those warmer layers here. Current wind gust up to 40 miles per hour in Louisville. We're at 38 for a wind gust right now at the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. We've seen a few of these pockets in the yellow. So that shows that where we could have isolated wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour anytime you see that on a wind gust map that we have here. So yeah, obviously that's driving down those feel-like temperatures into the teens, eventually into the single digits. Make sure the kiddos are bundled up tomorrow. It's been a while, I know, but we could have wind chills in the single digits tomorrow morning, but before those winds kind of ease up a little bit and our feels-like temperatures get a little bit closer to our actual air temperatures. All right, wanting to bring this up here. It looks like also visibility dropping a bit, I-71 at Frankfurt Avenue. So let's see. I'm going to pull up, not so much on our visibility map. Let's move forward here. There we go. Okay, so this is what was showing up on our weather camera. This little snowburst moving right over, 71 near Frankfurt Avenue, through Germantown, and off to the east there. That's what we were also seeing on our downtown camera. Floyd's Knobs up to Pekin. This is still west of Salem. But we're getting a few little skinny bands of snow falling. And now that temperatures have dropped below freezing at the surface, our roads are gonna start to get pretty cold out there. So expect an increasing chance of some slick spots throughout this evening and into tonight, especially if there were areas that after the rain this morning, they were still wet. Wind usually helps, but the wind brought the cold this time. There wasn't really a lag there. So that's going to cause some icy spots probably tonight and into tomorrow morning. Let's look at other portions of this radar here, zooming out a bit. So anytime you're seeing more of those deeper blues or purples, like that skinny little band that we were seeing that's moving from Floyd's Knobs into downtown Louisville, that's where we could see a little burst of snow. Otherwise, the lighter amounts are likely just flurries that are showing up on the map here. And our hour-by-hour futurecast will show that a lot of this moisture wants to move out of here, likely by midnight. And then after that point, we're just settling into that colder air. Maybe could be lingering flurries, of course, until all of this wraps up. But here's the big picture view of this. So the front took the rain with it earlier today, and now we just have what's on the backside of it, which is basically the wraparound snow. Some of it was trying to be a little convective, I would say, this afternoon. You might have seen some peaks of sunshine breaking apart the clouds while we were also seeing snow showers at different parts of town. And you can see that on the backside of a system like this. I do actually want to zoom in, though. If you have any friends that are up in South Bend, this is a lake effect snow band right here. I mean, that is just pouring snow. That's where you can get feet of snow. And it's all about where the wind's blowing, too. Bringing all that fetch of moisture off the lakes and just dumping it downstream. We're not looking at that. Sometimes, yes, lake effect snow bands can get this far south. They would lose a lot of their moisture before getting to this point. But we are seeing some skinny bands of snow, I would say, popping up here. So that's what we're seeing once again between Salem into New Albany and into Louisville as well. All right, let's move forward with the Futurecast. Throughout the rest of this evening and into tonight, if you have to be out, you could be caught in a spotty snow shower. Otherwise, gusty winds, very cold temperatures, slick spots on the roads where we're seeing any of that flash freezing because of, once again, the moisture this morning followed by these plummeting temperatures. But a lot of the model data wants to really pull this moisture off to our east through the overnight hours. Just some lingering flurries where we might have some low clouds, very cold temperatures, upper teens, lower 20s. Now, tomorrow we should see some of those clouds break apart. Tomorrow's kind of our in-between systems day. So it looks like we'll have some chilly sunshine here. Temperatures struggling to make it out of the 20s. Not really looking to thaw out too much. And then tomorrow night into Friday, I think most of your Thursday's looking quiet. Late tomorrow night, we could start to see a little bit of activity, but that moisture, I will say this is our high resolution rapid refresh model, also known as a HER. You'll hear us talk about this, especially with severe weather, because it's gets updated every hour. It's a really good convective model. But it's just now starting to get us into midday on Friday. And this is what the model looks like for Friday morning at 8 a.m. Obviously, that would be an issue if we have snow all across Kentuckiana. We've been having a weather impact alert for Friday and Saturday all week because we've noticed that if we're going to have snow, it would be probably one of those days. But in terms of what has changed here is potentially how much snow we could pick up with a potential wave Friday morning and then maybe another late Friday that has a bit more moisture with it. Still not looking at a major snowstorm, but in terms of snowfall potential, creeping more so up into that 1 to 2 plus inch range. So just keep in mind, usually 48 hours out, or we're less than that at this point, Friday, we have a better idea, but the models are just now kind of doing a switcheroo here and looking a little bit more like they have more moisture to work with on Friday. So we'll be watching that closely. I'll keep an eye on that. I'll have the latest forecast at 11 p.m. tonight on WHAS 11 because I should have that full model run in. That will take us through 7 p.m. on Friday. But this is a big picture view, and I want to show you this because this is interesting if you have any friends or family that live south or southeast of here. Is the latest weather models are showing a little bit of snow for them down south. So that will be interesting to see if that holds. This is Friday morning. The idea has been we've had a clip of snow kind of swinging through here. You can see Friday morning, especially Louisville northward. That's been pretty steady for a while, but it's looked fairly light. And then we could have, you can tell this one more so forming over us, tapping into some moisture that's coming in from the south Friday night into Saturday morning, and then continuing to kind of wrap around there with the potential for some snow squalls into Saturday. Although I will say it's looking a little bit more favorable for snow on Friday now versus Saturday. So that's been a change. And then as we carry this into Saturday and Sunday, snow wants to, oh man, I clipped this too long or too short. Give me just a moment. If I pull this all the way over, it will show Gulf moisture catching up. So by this point, all that cold air, we're getting that huge dose of Arctic air here in Kentuckiana on Sunday. That pushes that freezing line far south because we're going to be in the teens, if not the single digits in some spots. And that pushes that freezing line far south. Take a look at this. Y'all remember last year when we had snow down throughout the deep south? I mean, they just got a ton of it. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here, but they could have snow if this holds. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas. That's just one model run. Not putting it out there, but certainly something to watch for the areas who don't get nearly as much snow as we get. Not that we get a ton, but we obviously get more than they get. All right, here's your 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, kind of the quiet day here. Sunshine, but chilly. Temperatures will be topping out maybe close to 30 degrees. We'll try to get to that freezing mark if we have a ton of sunshine, but it's just going to be a chilly day out there. So really the cold after this system today. And then as we carry on throughout Friday, we're watching that snow potential once again in the morning, and then potentially another round Friday night into Saturday. Things become a bit spottier on Saturday, but we could have more snow bursts that could lower visibility on Saturday as temperatures drop. 14 degrees is our low Saturday night with colder wind chills. As you head to church on Sunday morning, it's going to be very chilly. 26 is your high on Sunday, and then we really struggle. It looks like that cold air is going to be, just to our north, really streaming in here through the weekend. So I think we're going to struggle to hit the freezing mark. So whatever snow we get, especially Friday night, Saturday, we'll be sticking around. And then we thaw back out potentially by Wednesday of next week. That's when it looks like we could have that next pattern change. So that's a chilly 7-day forecast. At least it's a little bit more consistent than all the 60s, 70s, down to 20, the ups and downs that we've been seeing all winter. I'm going to take a look at my radar on my phone here. Sometimes I like it a little bit better than what I have up here. And also the NWS chat. Once again, thank you all for hopping on this live stream. Just kind of wanted to talk through a few things here. Always nice to have these long-form discussions. And of course, answer any questions that you all may have. Ooh, Anderson County. All right. Let's go back to the radar because things are ramping up just a little bit. I'm also going to pop up Facebook Live in case anybody has questions. Of course, you can always put them in the comments below. All right, so here's the latest look at the Max HD radar right now. We're seeing a few of these blue bursts. It looks like right around Buchel, some lighter snow around St. Matthews. And then this almost looks like a lake effect band that's streaming southwest of Salem, slicing through New Albany and continuing southeast through there. So if you do get caught under one of these bands, you could get a quick coating of snowfall. We're still not expecting any more than a dusting, maybe half of an inch if one overperforms here, because as you can tell, there's just not a ton of moisture on the backside of this. Let me see if I pull up satellite and radar big picture view. Oh, that has all the wind. That's a little distracting. Let's pull up this one instead. So you can tell on the backside of this, the moisture kind of just cuts off around Indy, and this lake effect snow will want to go more toward the southeast, I think. So originally we were watching for the potential of maybe some lake effect bands pulling as far south as Kentuckiana. Doesn't look as likely, but this area around South Bend is just getting pummeled with snow. All right, let's go back down to our area. Flurries to the south, it looks like. We're seeing more of just like the whites on the radar here and the lights blues. If you're wanting some decent snow shower activity, that's anywhere where you're seeing some deeper blues. So those are the spots that I'm zooming in on. I can also pull up traffic here to see if there's any accidents. That's the other thing about these live streams. I'm kind of doing this as we're going, so not as polished as something that would be on a newscast, but that's why it's more fun, right? Traffic tracker not looking bad. I think most people are home for the night. Don't blame you. It's chilly. Stay inside, but we're actually seeing a lot of green, so that's good. Not seeing any major traffic incidents in or around Louisville right now. I think our tri-cams look about the same. Visibility has improved I-71 where we were seeing that snow shower there along Frankfort Avenue. So visibility may come and go if you end up under any of these spotty, they're just spotty snow showers. That's the trend through the rest of this evening into early tonight, and I think the snowblower will kind of shut off once we get past about midnight or so. So hour by hour futurecast here, spotty snow showers, dropping visibility. Be aware of potential slick spots, black ice, things of that nature carrying on into tonight and tomorrow morning, because we went from 56 this morning with rain to the 40s, and then we dropped very quickly into the 20s. So this is a hard freeze, more sunshine tomorrow with highs in the 20s, and then we're watching potentially more snow. I think I'm going to have to increase our precip chances on Friday with just how the weather data is currently looking. Once again, I'll have that latest forecast tonight on WHAS 11, but expect snow showers potentially early and late on Friday, more spotty snow on Saturday, and then just that deep freeze, it looks like after that point. We tend to dry out a bit more, some clipper systems off to our north, but nothing. I just took snow and rain chances out of the forecast Sunday through Wednesday because nothing was moving as far south as Louisville at that point. All right. Doesn't look like anybody has questions. I'm going to leave us on the radar. It's cold out there. Actually, let's take one last look at the feels like temperatures. So those are actual air temperatures, 29 in Louisville. Feels like 16. Feels like 5 in Indianapolis. So yeah, we're dealing with those gusty winds. Been seeing some wind gusts, 30 to 40 miles per hour. Whew, and that just makes it feel a lot rougher out there. So 38 mile per hour wind gust in the Louisville area. And on top of that, obviously, if you have wind and you have some little bursts of snow as well, visibility is kind of the biggest issue that we're seeing. Because when it's blowing snow that much anyway, and it's not a ton of moisture to accumulate the snow, it just tends to be a visibility issue. Although a few of you may get lucky with some grassy coatings tonight. Otherwise, we're just dealing with the cold temperatures here. So thanks again for joining me on this live stream. This is Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell live in our beautiful WHAS 11 streaming studio powered by Humana. Talking all things winter weather. It is back with a vengeance here, but it is a reminder that, yes, we are still in January and we still have quite a bit of winter to go. So we're tracking those bitterly cold wind chills tonight, spotty snow showers that could accumulate on grassy areas if you get caught under one of the heavier snow showers there, and some slick spots that could pose some issues if anything's iced over from that rain that we had this morning, followed by that flash freeze. But we're tracking additional rounds of potential snow Friday into Saturday, cold air through early next week. After I hop off here, I'm going to take the latest look at the model data and refine that forecast potentially for Friday. So be sure to join me on WHAS 11 at 11 p.m. And once again, thanks for joining me tonight. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you next time.